the league doesn't step up and protect her, things are going to get ugly real fast.
Anybody that does something flagrant to this young lady for what she's brought to the game should be suspended and fined big time.
Hello and welcome back to the WNBA Spotlight channel. Today we're covering a developing WNBA controversy involving Sophie Cunningham and DiJonai Carrington. After the recent incident, Steph Curry reportedly addressed the situation, and his comments have quickly gone viral across the internet. The story has sparked strong reactions with fans eager to understand what really happened. So before we break down the full story, take a second to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Then we'll get into all the details. Let's jump in. Alright, what would happen if one of the greatest basketball players ever saw the WNBA's most talented young athlete being singled out through questionable methods? You'll discover how the basketball world has been entirely turned upside down by Steph Curry's startling comments about DiJonai Carrington's behavior towards Sophie Cunningham. But first, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a professional athlete targeted the way Sophie Cunningham has been throughout her career? What he witnessed during the Chicago Sky game has dramatically altered Stephen Curry's view of the WNBA. This aspect of Steph Curry's perspective devastates DiJonai Carrington. Sophie Cunningham is right now at Steph Curry. Steph Curry was the best player in a league consisting of incredible athletes at the time. And because they couldn't match his extraordinary basketball IQ, they tried to physically intimidate him. However, Stephen Curry brought attention to this crucial matter. DiJonai Carrington's reputation starts to get extremely interesting at this point. Stephen Curry understands the difference between what he is seeing with Sophie Cunningham and what he has seen in both championship-level competitive basketball and the mob scene. You read accurately when he called it the most cowardly act I've seen on a basketball court in decades.
The WNBA is the gift that keeps on giving. The latest is a clothesline foul on Sophie Cunningham by DiJonai Carrington, the woman that went on an incredibly racist rant against cab driver, and of course knocked the hell out of Caitlin Clark from behind her rookie year. But that's okay. I'm not mad at that kind of basketball. That's all good. But the problem is after. It was white privilege. White girl goes to the basket. African-American woman knocks her on her ass, clothesliner, knocks her down, upgraded to a flagrant 2.
After seeing the footage of DiJonai Carrington hitting Sophie Cunningham from behind while she was trying to deal with getting poked in the eye, Steph Curry responded violently and quickly. The only person in basketball history who genuinely understood what pure competitive fire looked like was this man who battled well-known enforcers like Dennis Rodman and Bill Lemaire. But even he could see that DiJonai Carrington's behavior violated the rules of sportsmanship and competitive integrity. But listen to what Steph Curry has to say about that shove's timing. DiJonai Carrington is currently quite dissatisfied with his analysis. Before we continue, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's return to the narrative. The basketball player raised an issue that many fans have been thinking about, but nobody with his level of notoriety had the guts to do so. Taking cheap swings at someone while they're completely exposed and not looking is not the same as playing championship-level defense. Steph Curry emphasized that his era was thought to be the most physically taxing in NBA history. When you disagreed with someone, you didn't wait for their back to turn before acting like a predator. Instead, you faced them like a warrior. And that's exactly what made DiJonai Carrington's abhorrent actions so hurtful to Steph Curry. For now, however, DiJonai Carrington's reputation has been totally destroyed by Steph Curry's attack. DiJonai Carrington's pathetic post-event reaction infuriated the senior Boston Celtics player. DiJonai Carrington pretended that the media and fans were unfairly criticizing her rather than offering an apology or acknowledging that she might have gone too far. "Damned if I do, damned if I don't," she said. But after hearing such comments, Steph Curry became even more furious. The game's victors and legends, truly great competitors, always take full responsibility for their acts, especially when those actions could put another player in grave risk. According to Steph Curry, he said he was reminded of sportsmen who knew deep down they couldn't compete at the highest level when he watched DiJonai Carrington play the victim and avoid criticism. As a result, they found more questionable ways to affect the game. To put it another way, Steph Curry successfully characterized DiJonai Carrington as a substandard player who employs unethical tactics because she lacks the real basketball skills to match greater promise. This is where Steph Curry's research truly shines and reveals a fascinating aspect of Sophie Cunningham. Steph Curry recognizes in Sophie Cunningham the same special qualities that made him one of the greatest basketball players in history. Her exceptional basketball IQ, her unexplainable ability to make clutch shots, and above all, her divine ability to uplift everyone around her. But as a person who respects basketball ethics, he also observes something that really concerns him. This incredibly talented young athlete must constantly be on the lookout for cheap shots and dirty tricks rather than focusing only on realizing her boundless basketball potential. DiJonai Carrington's approach, according to Steph Curry, fully encapsulates everything that is wrong with certain players' choice to play. Sophie Cunningham, instead of pushing themselves to match her, exceptional skill level, or outwork her on the court through dedication and preparation, it is concerning that she is physically assaulted when she is at her weakest. According to Steph Curry, this behavior is the worst basketball competition he has ever seen. However, Steph Curry's audacious comments were the topic of the basketball world. Steph Curry compared the circumstances surrounding Sophie Cunningham to his own experiences with physical assault at work. But he didn't think twice about calling attention to anything that uplifts Sophie Cunningham and puts her situation in the right context. He emphasized that Sophie Cunningham, who is only 24 years old, is going through far more suffering than most athletes go through in their careers. She is also carrying the weight of being the unchallenged face of women's basketball. Next voice.
I mean, look, it was a hard foul. I don't think that DiJonai intentionally came out to get her across the neck like she did, but it did happen, and I thought it was the right call. But, you know, one of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup. And so I don't oppose the hard foul. But I also don't think that she intentionally went for the neck.
Steph Curry's comments about DiJonai Carrington's NBA prospects, which are presently making the rounds on social media, are absurd. Steph Curry claims that if the WNBA allows players like DiJonai Carrington to seek superstars without facing repercussions, it suggests that mediocre players can use unethical tactics to stay relevant rather than developing their true basketball skills. He claims that this creates a dangerous precedent that can deter players who are raising the bar for the league. Steph Curry even went so far as to claim that the league's failure to adequately penalize these behaviors deceives young players who watch at home. He believes that instead of teaching kids how to pick bad opponents, watching the WNBA should teach them about skill, commitment, and sportsmanship. The most significant part of Steph Curry's entire statement, but might have been his prediction for Sophie Cunningham's future. Despite these challenges, he asserted that Sophie Cunningham was molded by adversity and that every cheap shot, foul play, and attempt to frighten her only made her more determined to prove her superiority through skill alone. Steph Curry compared Sophie Cunningham's situation to his own rookie campaign when his opponents constantly tested his physical endurance. He noted that in addition to the unprecedented media attention and demands that come with being the most marketable player in WNBA history, Sophie Cunningham is dealing with this behavior. Thus, Sophie Cunningham's support from Steph Curry is crucial. He is protecting more than just a talented athlete. He is defending the intrinsic purity of basketball. Sophie Cunningham, in his opinion, embodies every quality that makes basketball unique, including talent, vision, class, and competitiveness. He also sees competitors like DiJonai Carrington as having everything that might be detrimental to the sport. The basketball veteran made it clear that the WNBA is at a critical juncture. They have two choices. Either they protect and showcase their top players, allowing stars like Sophie Cunningham to reach their full potential and enhance the league overall, or they keep allowing weaker players to use dishonest tactics to remain relevant. The message from Steph Curry was very clear. The league's future will depend on the choice selected. But this is the question that everyone is discussing. Will the WNBA take Steph Curry's warnings about protecting Sophie Cunningham seriously? Or will they continue to allow players like DiJonai Carrington to employ questionable methods to harm the league's image? Let's continue the conversation in the space provided for comments below. How do you feel with Steph Curry's harsh criticism of DiJonai Carrington's behavior? Do you think he's being too critical, or do you think his objections are totally legitimate? More importantly, do you believe the WNBA will eventually move to protect its biggest star? Kindly provide your thoughts in the space provided for comments below. I read every single one of them. If you want to see more analysis like this that breaks through the clutter and explains what's truly happening in basketball, be sure to click the subscribe button and enable the notification bell. The contentious comments made by Steph Curry may potentially affect Sophie Cunningham's status in the WNBA. The basketball community is monitoring this issue.